Wow. Just wow. Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be another classic movie review. And this movie I'm going to be reviewing is just, oh my god, this movie is just wow. It came out in 1999, and it's the biographical drama Boys Don't Cry, which is a bullshit title because boys do cry. Just getting that out of the way. This movie's just wow. Okay, let me explain something about this movie. I don't really cry a lot to movies. I don't get very affected by them. Even my favorite movie, Titanic, I teared up. I don't cry. I tear up to movies. Are they effective? Yes. Are they emotional? But most times when movies are effective, they're a different kind of effective for me. I remember them. That's how effective usually is. This movie is different. This movie is way different than that. And I was told that if you watch this movie, it is one of the most effective movies you will ever see in your lifetime. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Of course it is. I mean, most movies, I'm just like, okay, they were sort of effective. I didn't cry, but it was still was extremely effective. That's usually how I am. But with this movie, I actually cried to this movie because Boys Don't Cry, for one, is a masterpiece and also is one of the most effective movies you will ever see in your lifetime. And I can really not relate to anything in this movie. However, there is something I think everyone can relate to in this movie. I'm going to talk about that, but let's get to the plot of this movie, which the plot of this movie is extremely interesting and extremely grasping because we focus on this man. I'm gonna call him a man. He's a female, but he looks at himself as a male. He doesn't see himself as a female. He sees himself as a male. Brandon Tina, who he was a real person, and I say was because you guys know if you've seen this movie. You guys know. I'll talk about that in spoilers, okay? I'll talk about it in spoilers. But basically, I'm starting to tear up, guys. I'm starting to tear up. His birth name was actually Tina Renee Brandon, and basically one day he is discovered to be transgender from the brother of his former girlfriend. He becomes a target of like this whole fight and everything, and not long after he's involved in this whole bar fight and everything, and he's basically evicted from his cousin's trailer, and he actually moves to Falls City, Nebraska, where he develops a couple of friendships with a few people, John, Tom, Candace, and Lana, who Lana he takes an immediate interest in. He really likes her, but at the same time, his cousin is very worried that he's going to screw up again and that they're going to find out his secret, but he tells his cousin, no, this is not going to happen, and Lana does not know who Brandon really is. She doesn't know about his true sexuality and everything, that he's actually a woman. She doesn't know anything about that, and he basically has to try to do whatever he can to cover that up and not let them find out, and that's basically a plot of Boys Don't Cry. Now, that plot, at the surface, sounds very emotional, and it is very emotional to watch that happen. And where do I even begin with this movie? Seriously, there's so much to talk about in this movie. First of all, we have to get to the acting here, which, let me just... honestly, the acting you have to applaud to because this acting doesn't feel like acting. I have to say that right now. The thing that works with this acting is that this does not feel like acting. Hilary Swank as Brandon Tina. I've seen Hilary Swank before. I've seen her give some good performances. I've never thought of her as an amazing actress. She fucking deserved that Oscar. Seriously. I am so happy she got that Oscar because she gives probably one of the best performances I have ever seen in my life. She completely transformed to this character. You don't see her as Hilary Swank. You see her as this character, Brandon Tina. You see her play this role, and she played it amazingly. And the thing with Brandon that I think makes him so relatable, and the things that makes this movie so emotional, is that he's just a kid who's looking for self-acceptance. That's all he wants. He wants to be accepted by the world, because no one accepts him. Nobody sees him as who he wants to be seen as, and everyone ridicules him for it. And we all have something that we are ridiculed for. We all have something that we aren't accepted for. And I think, well, not our whole life, but at some point in our lifetime, there's something that we long to be accepted for. And I think that's the thing that makes his character so relatable, and the thing that made me so connected to his character. And he just portrayed that perfectly, definitely. Just as good, though, and who I think is a bit underrated, actually, is Chloe Sevigny as Lana, who, her character is amazing, because their relationship is one of the best parts of the movie. It's one of the most effective things about the movie, because she doesn't see him who he really is, of course. She doesn't know that he really is, a woman, and when she does eventually find out, she's perfectly okay with it, and you want their relationship to work. You want you want Brandon to be able to marry. He wants to marry her. He wants her to, become a karaoke star, because that's what she wants to do. You want it to be okay for them. You want them to have a steady relationship. You know it's probably not going to work out if you guys have seen this movie, because I knew what was going to happen at the end of this movie. I'll talk about that, but basically, you want it to work out for them, and it's so well done. Honestly, Chloe Sevigny, especially towards the end of this movie, the last 40 minutes of this movie, she was absolutely amazing. The whole movie, she was amazing, but especially the last 40 minutes, she was absolutely amazing. And I feel like she should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars. Why was she not? I have no idea. I can't believe she wasn't, because she totally deserved it, and she was amazing. Now, Peter Sarsgaard and Brandon Sexton as John and Tom. You hate their characters. I'll say that right now. You hate their character. Not the whole movie, but they portrayed their roles amazingly as well. I mean, their roles are legitimately, there are scenes with them that are very hard to watch, and I don't even want to talk about them. I'm going to talk about them in the spoilers, but they just thinking about them make you tear up, because you just think that what their characters do. I don't want to spoil it, I'll talk about it in the spoilers, but their characters are just, they portrayed them so well, and they're so intimidating and disturbing and sick, and not sick as in, oh, they're so sick. No, the bad kind of sick, like disgusting what they did, and they portrayed it perfectly, and everyone else in the movie was amazing. Leslie Gorson as Candace was great. Everyone was great. I really want to talk about Matt McGrath as Lonnie, Brandon's cousin. He was great as well, because he accepts Brandon in a way, kind of, but he just doesn't want him to do this anymore. And Brandon wants to prove him wrong. That's why he does this. That's why he leaves Nebraska. That's why he goes to Nebraska. It's all to prove everyone in his life wrong, and you want it to work out for him, and it's amazing the way they portrayed it. The directing by Kimberly Pierce is some of the best directing I think I've seen. The only other movie I've seen Kimberly Pierce ever direct is the Carrie remake. Now, that movie is really good. I really do enjoy the Carrie remake, but that is nothing compared to this movie. The reason it turned out so well is because Kimberly Pierce did extensive research on Brandon Teena, so she knew who he was, and she portrayed it perfectly, and I thought the way that she handled it was just perfect, this dark tone and everything, and it really made you feel like you went on this journey with this character, and she just handled it in an amazing way, and I loved it. The screenplay here doesn't feel like a screenplay. It feels like real lines, and it's so grasping and just so emotionally effective. There are scenes in the screenplay that there are just lines where you tear up, because you want things to go well, and you know it's probably not going to, but you want it to go well, and the writing is just so well done in that part, and I loved the writing because that it was absolutely amazing. The score is great. The cinematography is great. The score, there's one thing where I'm like, why do you have to play that song at the end of the movie? Like, seriously, I was tearing up when that happened. Cinematography was great. Editing was great. The movie went by like that, and just everything was amazing, honestly. The editing was amazing. Everything in this movie is amazing. Seriously, everything is. And this movie should have won Best Picture. I don't know if it was nominated for Best Picture, but it should have gotten nominated for Best Picture, because it totally deserved it. And now I'm going to talk about these spoilers, which if I start to cry, I'm going to try to hold back my tears. I'm going to try to just, like, not cry, but if I do, I'm sorry. If you guys have not seen Boys Don't Cry, don't watch the rest of this. If you guys know the ending of the movie, which I'm sure a lot of you do, then fine. But if you guys don't know the end of the movie, I highly recommend you guys check out the movie. Honestly, this is a movie that everyone should watch at some point in their lives, because, as I said, we're all ridiculed, we all want to be accepted, and it's a movie that, even if you don't think you're going to be affected by it, you will be affected by it. So definitely check it out. It's leaving Netflix this Friday. Watch it before then, and it's amazing. After you've seen it, come back, watch this review, and then you can see my thoughts on the spoilers. So, I knew what was going to happen to Brandon. I knew that, that's how I knew that this is one of the most emotionally effective movies ever. I knew what happened to him. But here's the thing, because of his character, because of you wanting his character to succeed, you kind of forget about it. You kind of forget that this is going to happen to him. You forget that he's going to end up the way he does. You forget about it, and it's just because of how well done it is. And for me, the disturbing scenes didn't come in. There's more than just him getting shot that was disturbing. The scene where John and Tom find out who Brandon is and try to show Lana. They take off his underwear and she sees they expose his breasts and everything and things like that, and she sees who he really is. It's just so hard to watch. You have no idea what she's gonna think. You have no idea if she's gonna respond, and it's just so hard to watch to see what was going to happen there, and I felt so bad for him in that scene, and that's the moment where you hate John and Tom's character, and that's the moment where I'm like, I want these two characters to die, and then of course, there was the rape scene, which, oh my god, I was crying in that scene. I could not even watch that scene, honestly. I didn't know that was in the movie. I thought that the last scene was... I had no idea about the rape scene. That, I was just like... I had no idea about that. And I thought it was extremely effective. It was just so emotional. I don't even want to talk about it. It was so effective and oh my god, that was so emotional. And then, of course, there's the ending of the movie, which was so well done. It was so hard to watch, but it was so well done at the same time. Literally, this is my reaction to the end of the movie. Okay, so when Lana was trying to stop them, I was hoping that she would somehow stop them. I was hoping that somehow this wouldn't happen. I knew it was going to happen, but I was hoping that it wouldn't. And you just forget that it happened. You do. And the second that they shot Brandon, this is my reaction. Oh my god! That was literally my reaction. I screamed no. My mom's like, what just happened? And I'm like, sorry, this movie's extremely effective. And then when Candace was shot, I went, no! Like, seriously, I was so upset that they got shot. They portrayed it perfectly. They ended it perfectly. It honestly was a beautiful ending because he sacrificed himself so she could get where she wanted to go, because he knew that he couldn't be with her anymore. So he had to just let it happen. And the thing is, Lana's still alive today. She is married. She actually has kids. She can live. She still has that legacy of Brandon. And then when the worst part for me was the ending of the movie where they played the song where they first met when she sang karaoke. It was like, no, don't play this song. I'm already an emotional mess. Like, seriously. I was so upset that they played that song, but I have to say that it was just handled perfectly. The way that they handled it was beautiful, honestly. There was no other way they could have ended the movie, okay? You knew they had to do that. And I think the thing that works so well with this movie is that this movie would not be as effective as it was had this not been a true story. Just knowing that this happened to someone, knowing that they did that, knowing that just because he wanted to be accepted in the world, that's why he was killed, is disgusting. And just knowing that it happened, it does show how far we've come as a society. Definitely, it's something that this movie does show, but it's disgusting. It's disgusting what happened to him. I can't believe it happened, and just knowing that all of that happened, I mean, that's why I think it's so effective. And and again, just people who struggle with that today, it wouldn't happen today, but just knowing that it happened, I thought was just so effective, and I loved that they did that. Honestly, even though I was as emotional as it was, this is a movie that I can watch again. I will say that. This is not a movie that I'm like, I can never watch this again. The Green Mile, I can never watch again. You guys know how depressing that was. But the thing is that this movie, I can watch it again because of the amazing performance and because of the amazing message that this movie has. Because the movie leaves you with this message of don't be afraid who you are. Embrace who you are. You may end up like Brandon, but embrace who you are. Don't let people ridicule you. Because Brandon, his whole life, dealt with that shit. And he let people ridicule him. And he let it get the best of him. And he tried to cover up who he was. In fact, there's that great scene where he's hiding his, breasts and everything. And he's giving himself a bulge. It's extremely disturbing to watch. And I thought they just handled all of it perfectly. And it was so effective. And I absolutely love that about this movie. But overall, guys, that's it for my review of Boys Don't Cry. Please, please watch this movie. This is a movie that if you don't think, as I said, if you don't think you're going to cry, you're going to cry. It's extremely effective, it's extremely emotional, and I didn't think I'd be as effective as I was. I didn't think I'd say, I knew this, when the movie started, I knew that it was going to be a masterpiece. I knew that that was going to happen, and the transformation, as I said, one of the reasons is definitely Hilary Swank's transformation. I mean, just the way that she transformed herself into this character was amazing, but also just the fact that all this happened was just amazing, and the way that the movie handles everything, and the way it doesn't handle it as just a movie, it handles it as this was a real-life event. Oh, also, I was very happy to see that John and Tom were convicted, because they totally deserved it for what they did. I was literally like, yes, good, I'm happy they're convicted. And then when we saw that Lana returned back to the hometown, I was happy about that. And then when they show just the line, that line is what gets to you. When you see how long he lived for, it's just like, oh my god, he did not live that long at all. He could have lived so much longer had it not been for these idiots, and had it not been for himself covering up who he was. And I just think that message in the movie is amazing, and I loved Boys Don't Cry. But overall, that's my review for Boys Don't Cry. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys saw this movie. You have seen it. If you haven't, definitely check it out. It's on Netflix, as I said. It's just highly emotional, just be prepared. It's really emotional stuff. It's really hard to watch. You have to emotionally prepare yourself for it. As I said, I was not emotionally prepared. I didn't know what I was getting into, and thank God I'm watching a comedy next. Thank God. I'm going to tell you guys that next. My next review will be for a comedy, so luckily I can process this for a little bit. I can watch a fun movie, which is good. But I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for another classic movie review, and I will see you guys for that. And yeah, so okay. Bye. And sorry I was so emotional in this, but you just, if you watch this movie, you guys will know how emotional it is. You guys will know the journey you go on with this character. Because honestly, it feels like you went on a journey with this character. It really does feel that way. And that's something that I just love about this movie. Please see this movie if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.